Is it live? Is it live? Guess it is. Hey, what's up, guys? Alex here. Thank you for checking this video and thank you for being here. This is the third live development session. It was so much fun doing the previous two live sessions that I decided to do another one, and a lot of users requested it. So here I am, and let's do it again. Of course, as usual, you can follow this session on Hangouts or on the YouTube channel page or the Google Plus event page. If you want, you can share your comments, you can say hi, you can insult me on the chat of the YouTube page. If you leave your comment there, you can totally you can ask question, I will try to answer. And some guy just said hi, and it's alive. Yeah, hi some guy. Alex, nice to meet you. Yeah. Okay, let's start right away. The topic of these sessions, this session are going to be two. The first one, really important, is the debug session, like how to debug your theme, your custom theme. So a lot of users a lot of the comments in the previous videos are like I created this function but it's not working, or I used your code but it's not working, and now my theme is completely blank. What's happening? That's because WordPress is not printing the actual debug response. That's a security thing. Like, WordPress is not showing what's wrong with your theme, because if you release the theme and something goes wrong, you don't want to show the user your PHP error log. It's kind of like normal. So, but we have, of course, the functionality and the potential to handle all these error messages. And semicolon are my worst enemies. Yeah, their semicolon are a bitch. Yeah, they're terrible, but we can take care of those. And the second argument, we're gonna start introducing a little bit of JavaScript in our theme, so we can start animating something, hiding some section, click, show, drop down, accordions, something fancy. We can put a little bit of love in our wonderful, awesome theme. So let's get started. I'm gonna share the screen, if of course I remember how to do it. Screen share. Share screen one. Share. And present to everyone. Yeah, I'm sharing the screen. Awesome. Okay. So this is the current status of our awesome theme, the one that we are developing all together, and we are having so much fun. And it's working, it's fine, it's so great. But if while I'm coding, and this is totally normal, because while you code and use a lot of different functions and a lot of different specific tags, specific hooks and actions, it's normal that you're gonna do a typo, or you're gonna misspell something, or you're gonna miss the magic semicolon, the awful semicolon. So for example, if here I just remove this semicolon, I save it, and I go back to my theme and reload it, my page is completely blank. What the hell is going on? If I access the inspector, there's nothing. Like, my HTML is completely empty. This happens because WordPress detects an error in your PHP code, so it cannot actually build your website, cannot create dynamically your theme. So it just stops. It's just, no, I'm not going to do anything because this is a security issue, so I'm going to stop. And debugging like this and then try to figure it out, what the hell is going on, where is my mistake, is really hard. Probably if your functions page or whatever other page is really long, you're gonna miss this damn semicolon. It's just, oh, what's the error? So to solve this problem, we have to access the root folder of our WordPress installation, not the theme, but the actual WordPress folder. In our WordPress folder, where this the WP admin content includes, we have the wp-config.php file. This file is necessary to connect our WordPress installation to our database. We have all the functionalities that we need to create a security key, log key, to change the prefix of our database table. And then we have this amazing define global variable. This is a PHP define that defines this global variable that WordPress uses to detect what you want to do in case of debugging error. In this case, is by default always it's set on false because WordPress doesn't want to print your errors to everyone. But if we change it to true and we save it, we go back in our theme, we refresh, we're gonna have a nice error that says, hey, you made a mistake. There's a parse error on your functions.php file on line 12. This is great. This is amazing. This is so helpful. Why I didn't think about this before. So let's go here. Let's put back our semicolon. Let's save it. Go back in our theme, refresh, and now everything works. No more error messages. No more, why didn't I know about this sooner? Yeah, no, this is great, but I should have said this, I think, the first lesson of this series of tutorial. But it's something that you don't think about that often, that you don't consider really important. You said, yeah, no, I'm going to build this team and I'm not going to do any mistake and it's going to be fine. But in reality, mistakes are normal and you're going to do it like every time. But it's not all. There's more and it's even better. So the problem with these functions is that if you release a theme or you're building the theme with other developers and you're all working together, you're going to have errors and you're going to have a lot of logs, mistakes, and triggers errors. First, in this case, you don't know what happened before. So now you fix this bug, now it's working, but why it wasn't working before? Oh, I don't remember. I didn't write it down, so I don't recall what was the mistake before. And if you release your theme and other users are using your theme, you want to keep track of the logs or the errors, but you don't really want other users, like the actual user of your website, seeing your PHP logs error. Is like kind of, it's bad if a user sees like your PHP mistakes, like on functions.php on line 12 you did this, and a user is going to access your website and is going to say, oh, this developer is a slacker, it's just horrible. So how we can do it, how we can show our actual how we can keep track of our debug or our errors log without showing. So we can keep these by default on true, so we can keep it as a true statement, the global variable, but we can change other to global variables that by default are not defined here, but we can define by ourselves, and WordPress is going to recognize those. So the first one that I want to define is the WP underscore debug underscore display. And I'm going to set it to false by, oops, maybe lowercase. By default, this variable is not set, and if it's set, isn't true. So it means that if we have a debug error, this debug is going to be displayed on your website. If I put it on false and I do the same mistake here, I remove the semicolon, I save it, and I go on my website and refresh it, an error is triggered, but I'm not allowing WordPress to show, to print this. Some guy is a horrible Slacker developer. Oh, we are horrible Slacker. But anyway, let me keep going. So we set the debug display to false. So we're saying to WordPress, okay, keep track of the debug stuff. So all the error that I make, but don't print it. Like, do not print publicly all my shames and all my mistakes. So now we have another problem. Now we solve the problem to avoid users to see our mistakes, but we need to see by ourselves. The developers need to see. So we have to define another variable that is the WP debug log. And in this case, we use the same syntax. Define a global variable debug underscore log, and we put true because we want WordPress to set a log. So in this case, let's go back in our website. Let's refresh. And of course, I'm not seeing anything here, no error, no mistakes. But if I access my folder and I open the WP content folder, you will notice that we have a new file here that it didn't exist before, the debug.log. This is the file that WordPress creates because we stated create this debug log. So if we access this file, we're going to have a tracking of all our errors, the same error that was printing before live on our website, on the front page of our website, and it was kind of bad. We have here with the tracking of date and time, when did it happen, when that happened, and the explanation of our mistakes. So first of all, even if we solve the error, we're going to have a track, a history track of all the mistakes, and every time we broke our theme with something and something didn't work, we know where to look inside this debug.log. And the other cool thing, we're not printing our mistakes publicly on our page. So if we solve our error in the functions.php, we put back our majestic semicolon and we save it. We go back here, refresh it, and we have again our beautiful theme. If we access the debug, we open it again, we're not going to have any mistakes, any error stated. So these are permanent. We can download a debug file with all the mistakes that we did. This is great. This is really useful. I should have told this, I think, the first lesson, because it's really important when you develop a theme. So just to sum it up and wrap this section, you have to define the WP debug to through to say WordPress, okay, let's print my mistakes. Let's print my debug errors. But let's not print it publicly on the front page of my website. So let's put false to the WP debug display. And then let's say to WordPress, instead of displaying it, let's create this log file that only me can access, so I can check what I did wrong and I can fix it without users knowing. So that's great. Which local server do you use? I'm using the usual MAMP, Apache, PHP, MySQL configuration for Mac. I'm on Mac right now. It's really easy to install. You can install it through terminal. There are a lot of, I think in the description of this video, I'm going to put the link of all the things that you have to download and install to create a local server on your machine. By the way, welcome, Martin van Wingerden. Is it right? Van Wingerden. Welcome. Thank you for your question. Some guy asked, are there different debug levels or just the one? It's just this one. There are no different debug levels. There's a really interesting article in the Codex of WordPress that is debugging in WordPress. It's really detailed, and you can do some other, as a decent lamp built in. Yeah, exactly. There are other non-level of debugging, but other specific variables that you can access, like you can debug the script, you can debug your queries, or you can debug also your Ajax call without causing your theme to break. And I'm going to share also this link. Actually, I'm going to share it in the chat right now. No, I cannot share a link in the chat. That's really weird. But maybe without HTTP. Yes, it's converting the HTTP into yeah, this is no. Comments contain links. Please put link in your video description. Okay, I cannot share a link in a comment, but is the Codex of WordPress. I'm going to share this link. There's a really detailed and long article on how properly debug and handle PHP error warnings and notice, the 3 different levels of debugging of PHP. So it's really cool. Lame. Yeah, this YouTube is so lame. Oh God. Oops. Other question about this argument, or can I go on with the amazing JavaScript integration in our wonderful theme. A user actually left a comment saying that it's hard to follow my tutorial because I say team instead of theme. So I should say theme because it's a theme, it's a WordPress theme, it's not a team. But I'm not a native I'm not a native English speaker, so it's sometimes I make a lot of mistakes. Sorry. I hope it's clear. So no more questions. Let's keep going. Let's start integrating some beautiful JavaScript in our theme. I say it right, theme. Wow, that's great. Okay, to do that, just before we have to check if we have a custom JS file. In the, I think in the second or the third lesson, my awesome team. Yes, some guys. For a while, I did think you were talking about my awesome team. Yeah, I have an amazing team of one person, and it's me. That's my whole team. It's just, we are so good together, and I never have problem with myself, so I can discuss with my entire team. We have these huge meetings during night, and it's great. But no, I'm actually always talking about the theme. I'm sorry if that sounds confusing sometimes. I'm trying to improve my English also with these videos, but let's keep going. So let's access again our themes folder and our awesome theme. And in the JS folder, I created my awesome.js. That is the file that I'm going to use to put all my JavaScript functions inside. I have to check before starting if inside the functions.php, I include this script inside my theme, and the custom JS get template directory URI awesome.js. It's included. It's there. I can use it. That's great. So we already know that WordPress comes with a pre-built installation, a pre-built script of jQuery. So we can use the jQuery library to handle all our animation. This is great. It's going to be amazing and super easy, but removing this and integrating your own jQuery library if you want to use another version, or you can use a third party, other JavaScript frameworks, whatever you feel comfortable with, you can do it. So let's access the awesome theme, the awesome.js, and let's start our JavaScript by opening and stating at document ready. We start our function and we open our brackets for the JavaScript. So does everyone know what this means? So in this case, I'm just a quick introduction of jQuery. I'm saying that when the entire document is ready, so it's fully loaded, I'm going to start this function. And inside this function, I can write all my functions. So I'm going to say execute what's inside here after the document is ready. This $sign is a variable. I'm defining this variable because I can use it to call other functions and activate jQuery. Sometimes you will see that in some themes or in some like plugins, it's written jQuery. And if you use these, you have to constantly use jQuery to call your functions. It doesn't matter which variable you want to use. You can use also just J, and then you use always J to call the functions, or you can use like H, whatever. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that if you use the $, you have to be careful that other JavaScript libraries won't use the $sign or won't use the same variable that you're using, or otherwise you're going to have a conflict. You can solve conflict by using a state of jQuery no conflict, the pre-built hook that jQuery comes to avoid conflicts. If you want to use, for example, the $sign, and you're not sure that your theme is going to be used just with jQuery, but probably there's going to be other libraries that are going to interfere, you can say just $no conflict. That's it. So in this case, with just this simple function, we are saying that our $sign doesn't have to conflict with other JavaScript frameworks. And in this case, we're gonna use the dollar just inside our function. But because right now my team doesn't have other JavaScript frameworks, we're pretty safe to go. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to hide this sidebar, and I want to create a button here with a magnifying glass. Every time I click the button, this sidebar is gonna open, it's gonna slide down, and then it's gonna collapse again, so slide up. We're gonna create this nice smooth transition, and it's gonna be beautiful. So let's create it. First of all, I have to include this sidebar inside a container and also align this sidebar to the container of my page. So let's access our header. If I remember, the sidebar was in the header. Sorry, search. Yeah, the search form container. So the search form container is inside here. Let's put if class call access to love. Guy just started a really noisy car. Just trash your car. It's so noisy. You shouldn't supposed to drive something like that, but it's fine. Let's put it. So we already have our search form container. This is great. So we can style this container without affecting other part of the search, other section of our theme where we use the search bar. Remember, if we style the search bar inside the file search form.php, all the editing that we do, they're gonna be visible on both search bars. So if you do something inside the search form and you want to do it just for a specific section, do it outside, not inside the search form, or don't hear it in the video. Ah, you don't hear the guy. Oh, wow, that's great. That's a good microphone. It means that I thank you, some guy. Thank you for your comment. Thank you for all your feedback. It's great. Sometimes when I do these videos, it's like talking to no one, but having an answer sometimes in the chat is amazing. I'm so happy, but let's not digress. Let's keep going with our amazing live tutorial. So I was saying, I already have in my header the search form container. So the thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to open my CSS, custom CSS file. I'm going to put this search form. Always create a comment for the section that you're going to style, because when you're gonna build your own theme, and you're gonna have a really, really long style sheet, you're gonna get lost super easily, especially if you re-access your CSS after a couple of weeks. You're not gonna remember what you were doing. So always leave some comments to this section is about this, blah, blah, blah. It's better. It's way more organized, and it's easier to remember what you did and why you styled that section on the first place. So let's create a class search form container. And for now, I'm going to just use the display none. So by default, my search bar on the header here is going to be hidden. We got nothing. So it's completely gone. Some guy is written, sometimes I don't know when to shut up. Welcome to my world. That's why I'm doing this tutorial. I have no idea how to shut up. I'm just keep talking, without realizing that I'm kind of annoying sometimes, but let's keep going. So our search form container is hidden right now. So we have to create a JavaScript code that every time we click a specific link, we're going to open it. But we don't have the link. So to create the link, we can access the administration panel of our WordPress installation. Let's go in the appearance, and let's go in the menus section. We have our beautiful menus here. We can create a custom button here to show a magnifying glass And every time we click, it's going to open the section. So let's create a custom link. Let's open on the left sidebar, custom link. And here, there's a little trick. So if you try to insert a menu item without specifying a URL, WordPress is not going to allow you to do that because he wants a URL. If you create the hashtag, the hash, if you use this symbol and you add to menu, you're gonna be able to create this custom link. But the problem is that if you I don't have space to scroll. So if you let me ask, do I have a page with a little bit of text? Yeah. If you scroll down, and you click, your theme, your page is gonna jump back on top because you're gonna have this hash number, the hash symbol in your link, and it's gonna create this jumpy part. So we can prevent this behavior in two ways. First, we could remove this link that we don't want to. Instead of putting the symbol, the hash symbol, we can just put JavaScript semicolon. This is a call of JavaScript to a no function. So we are enabling the function of clicking of a link, but calling nothing. We can call absolutely nothing. So it's fine. We can use our search name, add to menu, and we're allowed to put it here. Save menu, refresh the page. If we scroll down just a little bit and we click this, we can click and it's not gonna create a jump issue. The problem here though is that, as you can see, my cursor is not turning into a pointer, the usual pointer that I have on links. Because we use the JavaScript colon semicolon, WordPress is not creating the href tag to point somewhere else, something to point somewhere. And it means that the CSS code cannot style properly here. It doesn't recognize here as a proper link. So let's roll back our custom link with the URL of this symbol. Save menu, and let's add a class to this. To add a class, we have to open on the top right the screen option, and we have to activate the advanced menu property as a CSS class. The CSS class creates another section in the custom menu where we can put an actual custom CSS class. So in this case, I'm going to call it open search, and I'm going to save it. Refresh my front page, and now we have the link with the thing here, and I have my custom class that is here in the container. So the WordPress applies the class not on the actual link, but on the list element, on the li element container, open search. So let's start doing something cool with JavaScript, and let's do this. $document on click, comma, open search space a function e, open close brackets, and close it. Semicolon at the end. Always this majestic semicolon. So what I'm doing here is a really simple statement, a really simple listener. I'm creating a listener. Maybe if I spell it right, open, it's going to be better. I'm creating a simple listener and saying to jQuery to check the document, check my entire document for a click event on these elements. So on the A tag inside the open search class. As you notice, I put a dot here because to JavaScript, you have to specify the class as a CSS class. So with the dot inside, not as an actual HTML class, not as a simple class inside the HTML markup, but as a proper CSS class. And I could say also this, I can put this symbol here, this little arrow, to indicate that you have to check the direct child a tag of this open search class. If I don't specify it, all the a tag inside an open search class are gonna activate this listener. If I put this symbol, it means that only the closer, the first one, is gonna have this listener attached. But anyway, let's keep going. So now we created a listener, and to check if this listener works, we can print a console log. Click it on the open search. Save it. Let's go back in our front page. Let's refresh. Let's open our console here. So for him, the jQuery no conflict is not working. Yeah, okay, doesn't matter. Let's close it, refresh. Oh, blur document. It's not working. Do we have a problem here? Why? So in the console of our inspector, we have some weird stuff. So we have some error triggers that says that this code is not good, is not working properly, is not creating what we are expecting to create. So before having a panic attack, just check if we actually have jQuery embedded in our theme, So let's show the page source. Let's search for jQuery. Okay, jQuery JS, we have it here. Okay. And this is in the header, and we have the awesome JS version 1. It's here. So something is not working. JS version 1.11.2, and it's fine. Here, hey. Undefined is not a function. Document BigQuery. This is annoying. CSS token. Yeah, I don't care. Oh, I think I solved it, but the inspector is not refreshing. Yeah, I solved it. So I don't know why, but yeah, I did the interaction as before. So I had to change document, probably because of the jQuery migrate that it was using already this variable. It was creating some conflict inside here. So I removed the dollar variable from the initial statement of the document. And I said, let's call jQuery. And on document ready, let's create this variable inside my function. So this variable is going to be used just inside this function. We're not going to use it outside, so it's not going to create any conflict. We're not going to have any error triggered in our console. This is beautiful, finally. So we can keep going. We were saying now, if we click the search and we access our console, we have this clicked on the open search. If we keep going, we see, let's add 1, 2, 3, 13, blah, blah, blah. So it's working. The other thing that I want to do now is we have the same problem here, because if we scroll and I click the search, imagine like this bar is fixed on top. Actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put this bar fixed on top because it's easier to understand this. So let's grab this nav bar and nav bar fixed. I don't remember the bootstrap code to fix the navbar on top. So I'm going to access just a second the component section of the navbar, and it's fixed. Navbar fixed top is this one. So I had to specify top. Now we have our navbar fixed on top. This is great. Okay, let's do this. Let's access our header and let's put inside the navbar fixed on top. Here, I want the container, not the container fluid. So it should be fixed. Yeah, my menu and stuff, it's whole here. And now I want to add just a little bit of love to my body, because I want to put a margin top of something, not bar face and top. Thank you, Van Bingerden. Thank you, Martin. Is it right, Martin? Probably, I hope so. Let's put it here. In my body class, I want, in my awesome CSS, I want to create just margin top. Let's do 50 pixels. Refresh. Now I have nice margin. So if I scroll and I click the search, boom, it's gonna jump on top. And I don't want that because it's annoying. I want to click something, I want to remain in that position. So to do that, we have to prevent the default function that it's happening when you click a link with that hash symbol. To do that, we can use, of course, jQuery. So we created this document on click open search, and we created this e variable inside the function. So this e variable is connected to our element. This variable is the event that is triggering inside the element. So if we do e dot prevent default, we're gonna say to WordPress, let's avoid whatever thing is gonna happen by default if I click on this element. Let's just stop it. Don't do it. I don't want you to do anything. Just listen to me. Don't do by yourself. And that's perfect. And this is gonna work. I hope so. So click search. Yeah, that's great. We have our console log clicked on the open and nothing happens. So we're not gonna have the jumpy effect thing that we hate. So now we can trigger the opening, the toggle down of our search bar. To do that, let's go back in our search. Let's just comment this because we could always use it in the future. And let's do that. This on click $, we're gonna use the $ variable to access our DOM, to access our markup. I'm gonna search for the element called search container. I don't remember. Header. What was that? Search form container. So this is the element that I'm looking for. Search form container. Boom. Slide toggle and 300. So I'm using the slide toggle function. That is a function that allows the whatever element, whatever markup I'm pointing inside here to open and close with a slide effect. And the timing of this slide effect is stated in here. So this is a 300 millisecond. If you want a second length, you have to put 1,000. So you have milliseconds, you can control everything. You can control even, I want an animation of 10 milliseconds, you can do it. So you're not bounded to a specific unit, but the smallest unit that jQuery can understand. By default, I want to do it as 300 milliseconds because it's smooth, but it's still visible and it's nice. And with this light toggle is going to recognize if the element is open, it's going to close it. If the element is closed, it's going to open it. And it's great. So we don't have to code too much stuff to like detect if the element is open or not and change functions. This slide toggle is going to handle everything for us. Let's go in Safari, refresh, search, toggle down, search, toggle up. So it slides back, slides up. It's okay. This is what I wanted, but I don't really like it because I have two major problems. First of all, this thing is attached to my navbar. It's like really gross looking. I don't like it. Second of all, if I'm scrolling down and I click search, the bar is going to be open because if I scroll back here, but it's not opening here where I am right now in my navigation, in my position of the page. So to solve this, I have to style this bar to be fixed to and in a specific position that is going to work no matter my location on the page is. So let's use a little bit of CSS to style this beautiful navbar. Let's go here. We already have our code open. So let's go back and first of all, let's say you have position fixed. Position fixed is going to put in a fixed position my bar and I can edit whatever I want. And it's always going to be there. Even if I scroll 2000 pixels, it's going to always be at that position. Fix it. Up. I'm going to check right now the height of my element here. And this height is 50 pixels. So I'm going to put that position at 50 pixels. I'm gonna put left 0, right 0, so it's completely attached to the edge of the pages. I'm gonna put a background color with the RGBA statement. So I'm gonna put a black color, but at 35% of opacity, of visibility. So 65% of opacity, 35% of visibility. And I'm going to create a padding inside of 20 pixels. So the bar is not going to be attached completely to the body, to the container. And if I'm right inside here, I can put div class container to constrain the bar to my maximum container. So everything is going to be nicely aligned. Here, refresh, by default is open, open down. Yay! See? Now this bar is whatever I want, but what's happening here? This bar is underneath my text form. Oh, this is so gross. It's also underneath here. I can see everything. I don't want that. I want this bar on top. To do that, I have to use the z-index option that is from CSS. The z-index allows you to put the element on a specific layer. Imagine that by default, all the elements are on z-index 1, z-index 1. If you want this to be on top, you can put z-index 2. Putting z-index 2 means that this element is on top of all the other elements. And this is great. This is working way better, and this is readable because all the other elements are underneath. And no matter where I scroll, no matter where I am, I can open the search bar and I can type, I can enter. It's gonna activate the search results. I'm on a search result page and searching for whatever I type. Let me type something understandable. Sorry. Review. I should have a review here. No, I think I have a recipe. Oh, if I type properly recipe, let me check like random. So, oh, hipster. I can type hipster. Hipster. Yay, is getting results of a hipster form. It is great. This is so easy to style. This is so easy to handle with jQuery, and it's pretty cool, right? So the other thing that I want to do now is with a little bit more of CSS, I can remove this search text and I can put Recipe. Thank you, some guy. Yeah. Let's try. Yeah, it's working. That's my fuck face. Thank you. I need spelling classes. I know I'm awful. I know. Anyway, what I'm gonna do now, I want to remove this search text and I want to put dynamically a magnifying glass. To put that, I'm gonna use Bootstrap again. And I know that Bootstrap has a glyph icon library that I can use by default, and I have already the magnifying glass. So I can use that specific icon to put it where I'm put it at the same instead of the search text because it's ugly. So let's do this. First, let's access our source code, and we know that that element, the search, as a class on a container. The class is OpenSearch. So I can use this class to style the link inside here, which is great. So let's access our CSS and do OpenSearch. It means that inside the OpenSearch is the same statement as the jQuery. So access the A tag inside the OpenSearch container. And let's do that. The font size is 0. If we put font size 0, this thing is gonna disappear. Boom, we don't have it anymore. But if we have it, if we click here, it still works because we have a class that it's creating our A tag is occupying some space. Even if inside we don't have anything, our font size is 0, this space it's filled, so we can click on it. So now we have to just create a little bit of much room, and we have to put the wonderful magnifying glass icon. So to do that, let's do a fixed width of 30 pixels. And we're gonna use the Bootstrap thing. So let's open another section here, get bootstrap.com. Let's go in the component section, in the glyph icon, and let's check this glyph icon here is the magnifying glass, how it works, how this glyph icon is being called. So the glyph icon has these functions here. And inside there's this span element. So what we could do, we could dynamically reuse the CSS code to input the search icon inside our element, inside our link. So let's do this. Before, let's access the glyph icon. So we need all this stuff. That is the font stuff. We need the font stuff. We need to define that specific font. Let's access here. And I don't want the glyph icon inside the A, inside my A tag, because I already put the font size to 0. And the glyph icon is going to be a font icon. So if the font size of the icon of the A tag is 0, also the icon is going to be 0. So it's going to be invisible. I want to specify something after, something before the element. So I want to use a pseudo element of CSS. In this case, I want to specify this as a position relative. And I'm going to do open search A, search A after position absolute. Or let's try position relative. Let me try this. So in here, I'm going to paste all the options that I have from the glyph icon. So the font family, font style. So I can access whatever I write inside here, the glyph icon options. Now I have to just to detect which glyph icon search is using which content text, and is this glyph icon search before is using this content E003. I'm gonna copy this, put here, maybe if I copy properly everything, content, save it, a semicolon. Oh, in CSS you can avoid the last semicolon of your statement, so this one is gonna work anyway, but let's just close it because you could forget also and can create some problems. So let's refresh. Let's access our A tag. A after position relative display block. Select element. That's so annoying. So let's do something, and let's not put it on the A tag, but on the actual Lee element, because Lee element, oh, that's it. See, it appears. So I forgot something. So open search after, there you go, we have here. So we have the magnifying glass, but of course it's all messed up, is in a position that we don't like, and it's horrible. So let's put, first of all, in a position absolute, and so it's not gonna create any padding, it's not gonna mess up with our you have to have a font size because it's a font. Oh, that's right. You're right. Thank you. Font size 20 pixels. Hey, there you go. Thank you so much, Martin. You're right. You're the best. You should do this video instead of me. I'm awful, I know. But anyway, let's keep going. Let's style this thing, and let's put a position absolute, because the position relative is creating some problem with padding, is occupying a specific amount of space. So let's put a complete left 0. Let's go to left -5. So, oops. Let me not write inside here. Let me write exactly like here, so it's easier. Absolute. And let's set up all our location. Left 0, top 50%, line height 1 AM, margin top minus 0.5 EM. Save it, refresh, and it's then inside the location that I want. So the style that I applied is, first of all, I changed from position relative to position absolute. So the position absolute allowed me to put an element that is not occupying a specific amount of space, a specific actual space inside my tag, whatever I want. The container of that element has to be position relative. Otherwise, this position absolute is going to put your element whatever it wants, whatever the first container with a relative position is. The other parameter that I put a left 0, so it's completely attached to the border, and it's at a top of 50%, but specifying the line height, the amount of space of the line of the element, to 1 emphasis, I can put a margin top of the half of the emphasis. So I'm gonna have that element exactly vertically center aligned. And I have now my beautiful icon that has also the rollover effect because it's inside the A tag. And if I click on it, it's gonna open my wonderful page. And this is great. This is what I wanted. It was really painful to do it. No, it's not. It's quite easy. And I'm sorry for all the mistakes. Sometimes I'm so focused on doing this tutorial and checking comments and stuff that I forget stupid things like font size. Thank you again, Martin, for your suggestions. So I think that's it for the. We had a nice hour of tutorial. Do you guys have some question before I wrap this live development sessions? We have 4 viewers. That's great. Thank you for checking this video. This is amazing. The best stuff is always hard to get. Yeah, I know. Thank you, some guy. Oh, you're so kind, guys. So glad. Okay. Let me roll back on my back face. I don't know where you are, guys, but here I'm in Vancouver and it's 1,000,000 degrees. It's just so warm and sweating. And it's just roll back. I'm here. That's it. Yee. Okay. My chat is on the left screen. So thank you for the tutorials. Oh, thank you guys to following these tutorials, and thank you for trust whatever I say. And it's great. But okay, this was a quick live development session. It was an hour. Nice, dude. Thank you, Bjorn. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we learned how to properly debug our team. So every time something doesn't work, let's access the debug and see what the fuck is going on. I'm in Chicago. It's also 1,000,000 degrees. Awesome. Netherlands. Oh, Martin, how's the Netherlands? It's warm there. I've been in Amsterdam for a couple of months for I was following a course at the Blender Institute, and I loved it. It's night in Netherlands. Oh, thank you for following, guys. You're awake during night for following my awful tutorials. That's great. So happy. Anyway, we learned how to properly debug our team, and we learned how to include some JavaScript. And as you saw, I had some compatibility issues, so I solved it by changing the statement on jQuery. So we learned also that, and we learn how to style nicely some elements, use a little bit of JavaScript to create some animation and dynamic things. It's always nice having a search bar that appears with magic and love. Not that warm here. Okay, that's good. You're so lucky. Thank you for that. Been working with WordPress for a month and never knew about the debugging R. Yeah, no, I don't know. It's not. Should be like the first thing. Should be like on top of every WordPress tutorials. Oh, by the way, before starting, let's activate the debug so we can check what the fuck is going on. Okay, if we don't have any other question, I'm gonna wrap this session. I'm gonna release this video with all the links in the description, and that's it. Can I stop it? I think so. No. No. No questions. Okay, I don't waiting. Okay, no question. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, guys, again for checking this video and for following, for all the question, and it's been really nice. It's been really lovely talking to you and knowing you better. If you want, you can leave comments, you can write an email to me, you can do whatever you want. As you notice, I try to answer as much as possible to everyone. Every time you have a problem, if you didn't check, try like seed up. We can share the code together, and just give it a thumbs up to the video, share it if you liked it, and that's it. Pretty much. Can you show me the server you use? It's not a physical server. I installed inside my inside my Mac. Let me open the terminal, and I'm gonna show you something. Apache. I did it. Martin, which operating system are you on? Windows, Linux, Mac, OS X? Martin. I'm on Mac. Oh, perfect. So I can show you the tutorial that I used to configure. I used the tutorial too. Yes. Installing map on access. Let me access it. Remember. Crunchyroll about best tutorial, coolest guide on the planet. Is this? Yes, this is it. So let me share again my screen. If your Mac already has Apache running, you might need to add the SQL and PHP components. Yeah, by default, Mac comes with already pre-built Apache server inside and a Git and or the other cool stuff. But sometimes you have to activate it, and also you have to change some parameters in your hthost file to activate some specific function. So I'm gonna share again the screen. Here, screen 1, share. Okay, so you can see here, this is the coolest guides on the planet.com, and I'm gonna put coolest guide on the planet.com. I put a space so you can just grab it. And you can search for install and configure Apache MySQL via on OSX. There are the updated version. You can use the Mavericks version that it works perfectly with also Yosemite if you're on Yosemite. And this guide is great. It's complete. You have all the section. We start with Apache, and it's all through terminal. So you have these commands. It's just amazing. And the good thing also about this tutorial is that shows you how to configure your site's default folder to create some specific default local website. In my case, I'm using, you can install also PHP MyAdmin. It's great. You can create a new server, a new database, whatever. In my case, also, I'm using my sites folder, and I have, this is my WordPress installation here, and it's in local machine, and I can access through this local.wordpress.com because I configured this host to redirect to that folder. And it's really great. It's really useful. And of course, there are this guide if you guys are interested in the same functionalities. You can have it on Windows and Linux, and it's amazing. Okay, so I think I'm gonna close it right now because it was great and it was amazing. And let's roll back on my face again to complete. Okay, well, thank you everyone. That was great. I'm stoked for all the answer, and thank you again. Thank you. I will never stop saying thank you. And I already have 2 other videos ready to, so I have to just export it, finish, like do something, like change a little bit of sound and configure that, make it a little bit better. Sometimes they're crappy. But I'm gonna export it. I'm gonna share it in the next few days. And thank you again for checking this video. And I hope to see you guys again on all the other videos and on the next development session that probably is gonna be in a couple of weeks. And the next live development session is gonna have a really good news, a really nice new thing. So it's gonna be interesting. Please follow me. Thank you. Have a good day or good night if you're on the other part of the world. You guys are great. Cheers.